Now I'm going to show you a lure that's a feeding presentation that's designed to be fished on the bottom. Where do walleyes like to feed? Down, near the bottom. They'll suspend in the Great Lakes and bigger lakes where they feed on larger bait fish in open water, but for the most part, in our inland lakes and northern lakes, they feed near the bottom. Using a very simple jig and a minnow grub, this is a Lunker City Fin-S-Fish. It's 4.5 inches long and it has a Fin-S-Fish head. Looks more realistic than a live minnow. A live minnow, if it's healthy and you hook it through the lips, it'll swim naturally. It won't act erratic unless you pull it. Once it gets hurt a little bit from recasting, or maybe a fish hitting it, it'll kind of swim sideways or it'll stop swimming. What I like about using this particular lure for a feeding presentation is that I can manipulate it so that it looks just like or better than a real bait fish. Watch, I'm going to let it go to the bottom, and I'm just going to give it a couple of snaps to the rod. Tell me if that doesn't look real, like a fish that's kind of trying to swim. I've got bubbles, so I can't see fish going for it. Are there any fish going for it? A little excited, even though these are rainbows in captivity. I'm going to toss it out again and swim it from a distance. So if I was fishing walleye or bass or pike that are closer to the bottom, and I think they're feeding on bait fish, I would go to a natural presentation. So that lure is natural color, silver with a black back. It doesn't have an action tail, but it looks like a real fish. You know, the funny thing is, this lure has no scent on it. Big talk. We had questions yesterday, you know, does the scent work? Should we use scents? And I tell people, look, if the lure has a great action, and you fool a few of the senses, the fish doesn't have to come up and sniff it and taste it. It's sold. It's going to hit it, okay? So this is one of the oldest lures. I introduced this to Canada about 32 years ago, and they're still catching lots of fish in the Detroit River. And the fishing is starting there right now for walleye. This is the #1 plastic bait fish that represents minnows that the walleye feed on in the river, even down 30, 40 feet.